Welcome back. This year, World Breastfeeding Week is observed under the theme Prioritise Breastfeeding and Create Sustainable Support Systems. The focus is clear. Breastfeeding should not be seen as solely a mother's responsibility, but as a shared societal priority that requires long-term, multi-level support. Joining us this evening is Dorle Verrinder, a seasoned lactation consultant who has worked closely with mothers, families and health systems to strengthen breastfeeding support. Today we explore what it truly means to create sustainable structures that uphold breastfeeding as both a health imperative and a shared social commitment. Dorle, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, good evening. Thank you
so
for
lovely to meet you in person also. Dorle, when we talk about sustainable support systems to start with in the context of breastfeeding, what key elements come to mind for you?
So what this year's theme of World Breastfeeding Week really looks at is that a mum on her own won't be able to, she may want to breastfeed, but she won't be able to succeed unless she has, we have an all-in society approach that provides the mum with the right support, the right environment, and also the right resources so that she can actually achieve her breastfeeding goals.
How do you define prioritizing breastfeeding just beyond, the encouragement of it? What actions and structures do you believe demonstrate to us that it's truly a priority?
We should invest in breastfeeding. And we should invest on many levels. So one thing that we should definitely invest in is that we have trained health professionals and that we deploy these health professionals in all our hospitals and in the community so that every mum who is breastfeeding, when she has contact with a health professional and she comes across any problems with breastfeeding, that she has someone who's skilled and who can actually help her in a skilled way so that she can overcome these problems. We're also talking about a society approach where employers know about breastfeeding and that even maybe there are some policies in place that encourage employers to allow mums to continue providing breast milk when they start work again, so that there's a room where they can express their milk and where they have breaks, so that they can actually take the time and express their milk. And also even on a national level to think of extending maternity leave so that mums can stay longer at home with their babies to breastfeed them. And then also looking at policies that look at inappropriate marketing of breast milk substitutes so that mums are not bombarded with messages that may undermine their confidence in breastfeeding.
Yeah. I recently just heard that one of our local banks has established I guess a breastfeeding or a pumping room where breastfeeding mummies can go to pump, store their milk and take it home later, which is just fantastic.
It's fantastic. And if an employer can do that, they will also see the benefits.
Yeah.
So we have studies that actually show that employers who provide mums with the resources and the space and also the support, they have better staff retention,
of course.
And not just among the women, also among the men.
Yeah.
They have better morale, and they certainly have better staff satisfaction.
Yeah. Dorle, what does sustainable breastfeeding support systems look like when it comes to the healthcare setting?
We need baby-friendly hospitals. So a baby-friendly initiative is something that the WHO and UNICEF have set up internationally. And what it means is that a hospital signs up to what are called the 10 steps for successful breastfeeding. And what that means is that the hospital does all the right things to support the mummy at birth with breastfeeding. And it includes things like skin-to-skin contact, not separating mummies and babies, on-demand feeding, and that all the staff in the hospital are trained. And studies show that if we have baby-friendly hospitals, the mummies and babies leaving hospitals are much more likely to be exclusively breastfeeding compared to mummies and babies who leave hospitals that are not baby-friendly. So that is something that is quite important for Namibia, that we really encourage all hospitals to become baby-friendly so that we support breastfeeding from the moment of birth.
Outside of what you've just mentioned, what are some of the gaps or weaknesses that you've seen in your consultation work, in our current breastfeeding supporting systems within the country?
So I see a lot of mums who just lack the support. Most mums really want to breastfeed and they really, really, really want it to work, and then they encourage problems, very common problems like pain or too much milk or doubt about whether they have enough milk. And what they need at that stage is really skilled professionals who have been trained in breastfeeding and who understand the physiology of breastfeeding, and who can skillfully support the mums through those challenges so that the mums continue breastfeeding rather than doubting their ability and rather than giving up because it's too difficult.
Dorle, do you have any examples, either local or global, that you can share with us where sustainable breastfeeding support systems have been implemented successfully?
So the one I already mentioned is the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative. It's very successful worldwide, and we know that it supports breastfeeding. We also have something called the International Code of Marketing for Breast Milk Substitutes, which is really countries signing up to this code, which just curbs inappropriate marketing of formula, for example, or of breast milk substitutes, or of pacifiers, and it needs to be enforced. So countries can sign up for it, but then the country also needs to enforce it so that mums are not bombarded with messages that make them doubt breastfeeding. And we also know that something that is very successful is a peer support system. So we know that in countries who have a good peer support system, where mums who have previously breastfed, they get just basic training in breastfeeding, and then they go about and they visit mums at home, or they lead support groups where all mums can come together, and it's without a health professional, but it's just peers sharing ideas and supporting each other. And that in studies has been shown to be very, very successful to extend breastfeeding duration.
Would you agree that there's still such a huge misconception around breastfeeding? And even some people might be watching tonight and thinking, why is this even a relevant topic? It's one of the most natural things to do. You have the baby and your body knows that it's supposed to breastfeed. Is that still the case in 2025?
People really want to breastfeed, families want to breastfeed, mums want to breastfeed, but breastfeeding can be hard. And it can be especially hard if, if there's lots of systems not in place that we know support breastfeeding, and policies or even practices are currently in place that may not support breastfeeding. So I think, most people want to breastfeed, but then they encounter problems. And unless we help mums to overcome those problems and have faith in breastfeeding, which is normal for us, we're mammals, we're humans, we breastfeed, and we've been breastfeeding for millions of years successfully. And it's just because we have a lot of influences now and many systems that don't support breastfeeding that this becomes an issue.
Just emphasize to us, why breastfeeding education in broader public health strategies is so important, especially, at community level.
Every contact that a mom has with a health professional, or even in a shop that she goes to, or what she sees on social media, influences us. And especially a mom who may have problems with breastfeeding, or she, it's not going so well. If she encounters someone who's had some training and who's had education and can support her and encourage her and help her overcome, she will continue to breastfeed. But if she has a problem and she hears messages that, you won't be able to do it, or many people don't have milk, negative messages, it makes it much more likely that she will stop. So education, especially of healthcare providers, is really, really important.
Yeah. Just lastly, what's your call to action for institutions, workplaces, even communities, in truly prioritizing, breastfeeding in a way that lasts beyond just this World Breastfeeding Week?
I just encourage everyone. I mean, if you're an employer, think of your employees and see how you can support them when they return to work. If you have a family member who breastfeeds, really try and support them, encourage them, see how you can help them. And if you're a healthcare provider, try and learn more about breastfeeding. You may not have had any training in breastfeeding, it's quite common, but see what you can learn about the physiology of breastfeeding and how best to support mums. And on a national level, we're really looking at baby-friendly hospitals, enforcing the code of marketing for inappropriate marketing of breast milk substitutes, and to look at maybe setting up peer support in the community. Anybody can set up peer support. If they've breastfed and they have basic training, they can support other mummies to reach their breastfeeding goals.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time this evening, Dorle. And I know you won't remember because you helped so many people, but you helped me when my baby was about a week old. You didn't know who I was. I WhatsApped you and you were right there to assist, and that was about almost 3 years ago.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, that was Dorle Verrinder talking to us about World Breastfeeding Week. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.